Welcome to My Business Matters, the Michigan Chamber podcast.
Hello, listeners. I'm Amanda Toy, the Vice President of Membership and Partnerships at the Michigan Chamber, and I am so thrilled to be hosting the podcast today on Winter Tourism Update and Outlook, Part 2. I am thrilled to be with the guest today, Brad Keene. He's the Chief Operating Officer of Boyne Resorts. Many of us know what an icon it is here in Michigan. And I think I've known Brad for over 15 years. So welcome, Brad. We're so glad you're here today.
Thank you, Amanda. I appreciate the invitation to join you today. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, it is. And, myself coming from hospitality, too, I can fairly say we do like to have fun and work hard. And I know that you are exactly the same in your leadership style and who you've been throughout your career and continue to be. So just really delighted to have a conversation with you and spend some time together today. Most of our listeners are in Michigan, not all of them, business leaders from all over the state, people always looking to take a break from the everyday. And, a lot of us have been to Boyne, enjoying all 4 seasons there. But for those who might be new to the area and all things pure Michigan, why don't you go ahead and, Brad, tell us a little bit about Boyne and what makes you a little bit unique.
Great, thank you. First of all, we are a family-owned company. We just celebrated our 75th anniversary at Boyne Mountain on January 10th. It was started by our founder, Everett Kircher. And since that beautiful day in January of 1949, we have grown to 10 ski resorts from coast to coast, as far away as Vancouver, BC, and on the west end, and as far east as Sunday River in Maine. So we have 4 resorts out in Maine and a bunch out west, and here in Michigan, too. We also have the Bay Harbor Golf Club, Crooked Tree Golf Club, and a handful of retail locations around the state.
Yeah, and when I think of Boyne, being a Michigander, growing up in Detroit area, I think of up north Michigan. But I think you make a good point that you're all over the place. You're from east to west and everywhere in between, and some really cool resort concepts. So I think that's a good point. And hey, happy 75th anniversary to the Highlands right here in Michigan. That's a really cool story. 1949. So that's 4 years after World War II. My head just goes to all of the stress, all of the loss for residents in the area. What a cool outlet as things were coming back in. The economy was growing again, for your founder to open up the Highlands and have a great leisure opportunity for folks all the way back to the 40s.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, it's Boyne Mountain is 75.
Oh, Boyne Mountain.
The Highlands turned 60 on December 26th. So we're going to celebrate that anniversary actually tomorrow evening and Saturday.
This is a big year for you guys.
Yeah, it's a big anniversary year. Big Sky Resort turned 50 this year as well. So
wow.
3 big anniversaries.
Awesome. Well, there's much to be celebrated with you and your staff, that's for sure. So let's talk about the weather. I just, walked in and was talking to the production director here at the studio. And, I said it feels like a heat wave because it's 24 degrees out today as we're recording. And that's actually quite true. It has been cold. It's been snowy. It was a very probably in particular seasonally slow start with Mother Nature this particular ski season at the resort. And, when you I have talked recently, you have all these great stories of your staff and being resilient in some really unique situations where your property sold out, but the slopes looked a little bit different. So can you kind of take us on a journey of what that looked like?
Our teams did a great job, especially over the holidays. It was unseasonably warm, as everyone knows. I think I skied on Christmas Day. It was 58 degrees and sunny, and when you looked out into the distance, it looked like April or May, not December. But our teams did a great job. We talked about it. We knew this weather pattern was set up to be unseasonably warm and not a lot of precipitation at the beginning. So we did things as much as like rented mountain bikes over the holidays to give people something to do when they're off the slopes. At Boyne Mountain, we have a water park that was very successful over the holidays. We have the Skybridge, Michigan, and we'll talk about that later, I'm sure, which was very successful over the holidays. Bonfires, après ski all day long, lots of opportunities for people to have fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that would be a hoot. All of the skiing I've done, downhill skiing at least, it's been chilly, right? It's kind of the typical vibe that you're thinking of. So when you said you and your wife were on the slopes on Christmas and it was 58 and sunny, was it warm? I mean, did you start with like the ski vest or like the heated vest and the gloves? Like, were you just like taking layers off as the day went on, especially with the sun beating down on you on the hills?
Putting our boots on and starting to sweat already, we went out with less layers.
Okay.
So of course we always wear helmets, but we certainly didn't need to have any gloves and just a shell.
Yeah.
But that's it. It was a very, for me, I call it uncomfortable because I prefer it to be cold and snowing when I'm skiing. But it was a beautiful few rounds, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's a really cool experience. Something you'll probably never forget. So there's a lot of silver linings in the early winter season this year. And yeah, your staff, they're just fantastic and resilient, and it's cool that they were able to rally and take really good care of a sold out crowd in a unique situation. I'd like to talk about you, Brad, if that's okay. Sure. So you're kind of this iconic hospitality leader in Michigan and frankly throughout the nation in a lot of areas. You worked your way up, and they say in hospitality a lot, you don't just make it to the top. You really got to work your way up. And that's something that I've always respected about the industry. And I know that you're no stranger to that system, if you will, or that process. So can you tell us a little bit about where you started, I'm not going to have you give your age, but about how long ago that was, what things might have looked like then, right? Because this is a totally different world in hospitality today than it was when you started. And, just anyone or anything that's really been instrumental in your journey. Help us kind of hear Brad's story. You bet.
Well, I worked in the restaurant business as a high schooler. And after graduation, my high school instructor at the time convinced me that I should be a chef and go off to the Culinary Institute, which is where I went. And in a nutshell, I did my externship at the Highlands, then called Boyne Highlands, 37 years ago.
Okay.
And honestly never left. I fell in love with skiing. I learned how to ski a little ski hill on the east side of the state called Mount Moriah. It had one single chairlift, 4 runs, and a rope tow. And I learned how to ski when I was 16 and fell in love with the sport. And then after graduating from college, I came back to the Highlands, and I never left. It's a great company to work for. It's a great family. And opportunities arose throughout my career. I was a chef for a few years, and then I ran food and beverage, and then I had the opportunity to run food and beverage for the company. And I did that. While doing that, I ran the Highlands as their general manager for 10 years, so I dual-rolled, and then gave up the Highlands a handful of years ago to just focus on food and beverage for the company. Mm-hmm. And then a few years ago, I had the opportunity to interview for the chief operating officer position for our full-service resorts in the East. So I oversee all of our full-service resorts in Michigan, and we have 2 in Maine as well.
Yeah, and your Maine team has been fantastic lately too, with the tragedies over there.
Yeah.
So kudos to you. I'm sure that was a lot of sleepless nights for you and your teams.
Yeah, the team, it's the unthinkable that happened with that big rainstorm, and we closed that resort for 5 days. Mm-hmm. And that team, it was really, really beautiful to watch how they rallied around each other and the community and had the resort back open. We're making snow 5 days later, and had a huge weekend last weekend, so we're back on track.
It gives me goosebumps. That's just incredible. That's congratulations out there. That's just insane. And I didn't know you were a foodie at heart. So I knew a little bit about your career path, but Culinary Institute of Art, so host a dinner party, or maybe we all need to come up and do a chef's table with you, and you can kind of throw it back a little bit. That would be fun.
One of my favorite things to do.
All right, cool. So a lot of our listeners are very in tune with Michigan's economy, Brad, and as clearly you are, you have a lot of leadership roles with different organizations, including ours, and we're appreciative of the thought leaders that we have leading our organization. But let's talk about the economy when it comes to tour and travel and hospitality, strictly in Pure Michigan. But I mean, you've got the pulse on the East Coast. So if you want to go nationwide, that's great too. I'd be curious. But, people are sitting at their dinner tables talking about, how groceries are, their receipts from their local store are 30% higher, and, all the inflation that comes from labor shortages in all industries. It's no stranger to you, I'm sure. Affordable housing and beautiful resort areas, making sure that we're taking care of our employees' needs inside and outside of a work. So you're the COO. I feel like you're like the perfect guy to ask just the overall scope of the industry and the economy and where you think we're at right now in that space.
Well, if you want to start with Pure Michigan, we are very big fans of the Pure Michigan campaign. I had the pleasure of spending a little time with Dave Lorenz around the holidays just before Christmas when we opened the new chairlift at the Highlands. And Dave and his team carried the torch very well with Pure Michigan and have done a great job. Our hope, our desire is that we seek more funding and get funding back for Pure Michigan. It's very important to our economy. How have we done over the past few years after COVID? Golf people wanted to be outside, so golf and ski are very popular. Mm-hmm. So we've been able to weather that storm pretty well. Golf rounds have been up. Skier visits for the most part. The Midwest was a little soft last year, but it wasn't terrible. We're never going to make back what we lost over the holidays because it's like every day is a Saturday between Christmas and New Year's.
Right.
However, we have strong bookings and looking forward. Labor's tough. Labor's been tough. We pay up to 30 or 40% more hourly wage than we did less than a decade ago, and trying to find people to work is always tough. Mm-hmm. Although here in Michigan, we've been a little bit sheltered the last couple of years because of our wage increase that we offer, and the packages that we offer employees has been good, and the benefits are great for our employees. But we do outsource. We do things like take advantage of J-1 visas, student visas, in the winter and the summer, and a few H-2B visas as well, because we can't find enough people. And why can't we find enough people? You're right. It's hard for people to find a place to live. Here in northern Michigan, it's such a popular destination, especially in the summer, that everyone's taking advantage of VRBO and Airbnb, and they're renting their houses for big dollars for a weekend or a week. And it's hard for someone to move here and find a place to live that's affordable, that they can sustain, even at wages that we feel that we're very competitive on. It's still tough. So the landscape for us up here, it is tough. It's tough to find a place to live for a lot of people. It's expensive to travel. Gas prices are down, so we're happy with that. Inflation, I think that inflation is better now. I think that our future is bright here, especially here in the great state of Michigan that we live in. We have a lot of smart people working on our behalf in Lansing and nationally, and I think we are going to be just fine. We need to seek more funding for Pure Michigan, but that's a little sidebar and a personal thing for me. I've been connected with that through other associations for a lot of years, and have testified in Lansing to seek more funding over the years. So we just need to keep that ball rolling.
Yeah, absolutely. And well-informed business leaders around the state, no matter what the industry, Brad, I think it is really good that they have these professional associations to connect with, to make sure their voice is heard in Lansing. And our elected officials, no matter what your standpoint on different things, do want to hear what the pulse is out there with the people who have the boots in the ground, like you and your staff. So that's excellent feedback. And, with the economy and all of these shifts and these ups and these downs, it's like I don't even want to, open any stock exchange pulses on the bottom of my computer desktop. But one thing that I think you should be proud of, and I'm sure you are, is how innovative Boyne has been over the last, I'm going to say 5 years. When my family comes to Boyne, we see something new every time. And the Sky Bridge, like, I can't say it without smiling. And even, it depends on the season. Like, are you there in the fall overlooking the beautiful fall landscape of northern Michigan? Are you there in the summer with this beautiful green lushness? So can you talk to us a little about innovation, but also what are the feels for those of us who, are listening that haven't been on the Sky Bridge yet? What's the experience like?
So let me start with innovation, because this is what our company was built on all the way back to 1949, when Mr. Kircher started Boyne Mountain and then brought the first chairlift in the world from Sun Valley, Idaho to Boyne Mountain.
That's cool.
And still operates there today, right? And patents on snowmaking. When the Highlands opened in 1963, December 26th of 63, opened up with the first triple chairlift in the world. Not one, but two. And then we have at the Highlands, we had the first high-speed in the Midwest chairlift, and then the mountain. So we've been doing that for 75 years, and we continue to do that. And Steve Kircher, our president and CEO, pushes all of us to come up with more innovative ideas to help our customers want to enjoy our resorts more. And Sky Bridge, Michigan, is just another one of those. It was a brilliant idea, perfect location. And it's obviously the most popular in the fall with the colors. It's just a beautiful place, and we've had a lot of press on that. But even this winter, we lit that bridge up at night, and at the end of the day, when skiers are still looking for something to do, and pedestrians, it gives people the opportunity to ride a chairlift that maybe have never ridden a chairlift.
Yeah,
they ride up to the top and they go across that beautiful bridge. Over the holidays, or just before the holidays, we even had someone propose up there at the bridge.
Oh,
the family contacted us, and we had a young lady at our concierge desk at Boyne Mountain help set this whole thing up. A big surprise. It was a beautiful event. When you're walking across that bridge, and it's long, and it's high up off the ground, and the views from up there are spectacular. People love it. I love it. My family loves it. We go down to the mountain often and go across that bridge. My children's children love to go across that bridge. It's all ages.
That's awesome, Brad. Two takeaways there. I think when we're on the bridge, it kind of makes us feel small. And sometimes in the chaos of our everyday, it's cool to just have a moment and just to be and look at the world around us. So I think that it's something everybody should see. But also, I say this jokingly, but if you have an attraction at your property and there's proposals happening, I would say you've officially made it. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Awesome. Well, we're just about out of time, Brad. I could talk to you all day. It's just always a pleasure, but I'll give you the last word. Anything you want to leave with that maybe we didn't touch on today?
I think you hit on everything. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak with you. The soundbite from us at Boyne is that we want everyone to get outside and enjoy what our state has to offer. And snow skiing and snowshoeing and walking across the Sky Bridge are just a few things this winter that you can do.
Awesome.
Come on up.
Well, either heading north or heading south, however it gets to Boyne, we look forward to seeing you soon, Brad.
Thanks. Have a great day.
You too.